Hey Virgo, this is your general tarot reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon and Ascendant, or rising sign for the month of July. Virgo, this is a big month. This is a month where so many things turn around for you, where for that longest period of time things were almost perfect. Well, now they start turning around and becoming more perfect than they ever were. And you're saying, what? How? Okay, let me get to it. In a month where nearly everything is retrograding, even your ruler is retrograding this month. Mercury, on what date is it? July 9th, is retrograding in Leo in the 12th house. But the bigger thing, more important than that it seems this month, are the two eclipses. July 2nd, solar eclipse in Cancer. And on July 16th, the big one, the lunar eclipse in Capricorn in your 5th house, where you've been putting in such a huge amount of work over the last, say, year and a half or so, into doing what? Into standing up and shining, being creative, getting people to pay attention to you, to see who you are, to see what you're doing, the work that you're doing. Look at me, look at me. I am not going to be hiding in the shadows anymore. You have to pay attention to me now. And there was a real moment of you really stepping up to that, Virgo, and well done to you, well done, coming out of the shadows, fighting fit and saying, I'm not going to be putting up with any of this anymore. I am not going to take a back seat in relationships and work or anything like that. You're going to see me, you're going to pay attention to me, and like Jennifer Hudson, you're going to love me. So you've done it, and you've really had that moment of bursting through, of really starting to initiate a greater sense of confidence. But I'm just going to go back to that thing again of feeling like that you deserve to be loved. Now that, in a positive way, is magical and true. You absolutely deserve to be loved. But what Saturn here could be showing you this month, around the time of the lunar eclipse, is how that might have gone a bit too far. For example, the singles. You could be out there looking for love and maybe thinking that it's good enough to just show up, or it's good enough to be in the right place, to look as beautiful as you are. But when you look around, you're not finding any fabulous fruit and falling from the tree. You're finding a lot of bargain basement kind of loser people kind of coming towards you, and you're saying, what's going on? They should love me. I deserve to be loved, and the universe is not giving me people to love. For those of you in a relationship, it's the same thing. Looking at your partner and the way they chew their food, and you're saying, Even the fact that they breathe sometimes is just getting on your nerves, because there's a thing between you, maybe, and other people where you're saying, if you loved me, you wouldn't breathe like that. If you loved me, you would help me more. If you loved me, so there may have crept in this thing, Virgo, of like a benchmark of, if you loved me, you would do this or you would do that. And then always feeling somewhat disappointed. And because you have that superpower, Virgo, of being a good judge, somebody who discerns things, what again you might have found, and it's not your fault, this is Saturn doing his work in the 5th house for you. What he might show you is where you have become overly distant and separated from other people, where it's like they should come to me. If they loved me, if they respected me, they should come to me. If I have a business, people should come to me. If it should happen from me. It just should happen. Again, that's ego stuff that Saturn is digging out in you that you probably weren't even aware of. And separating yourself, as I said, from other people, partners, friends, family, and getting annoyed by them because at some point you realize that if they don't support this newly emerging self-love, then it can all fall apart very, very quickly. So there's almost a thing of, I choose to pay more attention to my needs than theirs, because when I pay attention to their needs, they just take, and they make me feel like that fool who's just running around after everybody else, and there's nothing special about me. So it's safer for me to be up like Rapunzel in my ivory tower than to actually maybe see the good in other people. And that's where I was going with that thing about judgment and discernment. Then looking at other people and maybe only seeing the negative in them, because you're kind of probably reaching a point where you're saying, well, if they don't see the shine in me and the best of me, then why should I see the best of them? Why should I give them anything? Because they're not giving me anything. They're not helping me become this new shining person. But this is where the big turnaround happens. This is where that beautiful Virgo discernment starts seeing that other people do notice how special you are, but not because you demand it, like you're going to love me, not because you're demanding it, but because you simply are it. And also for those of you with creative things that you're doing, or anything that you're doing in your work or anything like that, start sharing it. Start sharing it. Don't hoard it. Share it out there. Open a website, open a YouTube channel, a Facebook account, Instagram, and start sharing what you love. Start sharing the best things about you with the best part of other people, you know? And then you will start getting a good flow back again with other people, where it's like this trick, Virgo. If you turn this around this month and start seeing the happier things about people, the brighter things about them, the sweeter things about them, the thing about them that actually does make them shine, that not the worst parts, because everybody has shit they have to still work out, but the best things about them. If you see that in them, that will be reflected by them back at you. So that's why I'm saying it's a great time to start sharing, to start opening up, and to start getting back in with people, getting back in with not separating so much from everybody else and kind of staying in a corner and saying, don't come near me, but actually getting back into a flow and getting good vibes going with people again, because that's where your North Node of Destiny is. That's where things need to be played out, as the first card hops out. So speak of the devil, and he's sure to appear, the devil being Capricorn and Saturn, who are now doing that big full lunar eclipse for you in the very area that we're talking about. He's saying you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it maybe by being challenged by people who kind of say, you're not special, who do you think you are? Or they might come to you and say, oh my God, I'm tired of running around after you. Oh my God, you're a spoiled brat, or you're acting like a princess, or you're this or that. I'm tired of this behavior. I'm tired of you waiting for some royal treatment, you know? And maybe they have a point. Maybe they do. And that's what's going to be brought up for you, Virgo. And it might be tough. I can imagine that's got to hurt. But it won't hurt if you're aware of what's going on. Because, as I said, you're turning this around by saying, maybe you have a point. Maybe I've gone too far with building myself up and trying to be, you know, this is my personality, this is what I stand for, this is who I am, this, and don't try me, don't try me. Maybe there is a moment where you can relax that now and allow other people just see you. Because here's the kicker. They love you just as you are. In fact, they love you more because of who you are, not because of who you want them to see. So it's a big one, and that's why we've gone really super deep into focusing on that at the start of this reading. Now, to support that, we have on July 1st, Mars going into Leo, into the 12th house, where a big ally, Mars, the defender, goes into your 12th house and roots out with his big sword and whatever tools, implements or sharp, dangerous objects he has. He's going to go right in there and kickstart a bit of an illumination in areas, 12th house, that might have been blind to you before. You may not have seen. It's in Leo, in the 12th house. You may not have seen that you were being a bit too pushy or forceful on people, when if you just relax, they love you more. And it might come as a shock because, again, the 12th house is often where we think, I mean, you might even be listening to that going, that doesn't apply to me. That doesn't sound like me. That's 12th house shit. Mars is going in there to pull all that out from your cellar and say, look what I found. Are we keeping this or throwing it out? And you're saying, let's throw it out. Mars, just go in, do all the big heavy lifting and just get rid of all the things that are subconsciously blocking me from getting on great with people and from sharing my ideas, particularly for those of you who want to share on some community platform, be it your own community, on social media, sharing with a congregation, just sharing your big idea to go into the future. A future vision is very 11th house. This is a moment where you see how some of that behavior has been blocking you from your own destiny. A destiny now, like on July 2nd, with the new moon, solar eclipse in Cancer in the 11th house where your north node is, a destiny now that must be fulfilled. It's your new shiny path, and the 11th house is a great path because it is the future, it's progress, it's where things happen, it's where we suddenly realize where we're supposed to be going into the future with the right people around us who appreciate us just for being our brilliant selves, where we don't have to fake it or try. So it's a huge moment for you, huge. Now Mercury, your ruler, is retrograding again in the 11th house on July 19th, going in to help Mars, going in to plan everything and saying, Mars, see that thing, let's plan to get rid of this, let's that. It's the intelligent mind going in and strategizing with the master strategist, Mars, and figuring out this heavy shit that now needs to be pulled right out of your subconscious so you can get happy again. Because with Saturn in the 5th house for the last year and a half, you might have been saying, I am not happy. I can't make myself happy and other people aren't making me happy. Where do I get happiness from? Where does that come from? Now, of course, it comes from you, but it also comes from you now understanding that it's a flow between you and other people. That's where happiness comes from. And that's where the almost perfect becomes perfect. So it's very, very strong. That's the big vibes. We've only got one card. This one pushed itself out there, Cancer. This is Cancer season, the Queen of Cups. So it might get a bit emotional, the stuff that crops up for you this month. Yeah, it might get a bit emotional and it might rock your security a little bit, but that's okay, Virgo. I know you're an earth sign and you don't like your security being rocked, but this is like a major overhaul. This is where you take the foundations of your existing home, knock it all down, which might scare you, and build it up again, bigger, better, and looking good, and more welcoming and inviting to get other people to come in and see, see from your big panorama view. A few cards coming out there. Yeah. So it's deep, Virgo. It's deep, but it's bringing you back your happiness. And for you, it's a change in perspective that brings you back the happiness. And it has a knock-on effect in the real world. You might start suddenly realizing that everybody is treating you better. And that can't be a bad thing. This kind of came out like that. Let's get 3 more cards, Virgo. So there is a lot going on. Mercury retrograding in Leo in the 12th house might be asking you also to go back and meditate more. Think about your psychological health a little bit more. Go back maybe and do some mind, body, spirit work that might help you. And go back and recover what was lost to you. And that very much so is your happiness in some cases, and your sense of feeling connected to that source of happiness. So you're going back on a journey to revisit that. Maybe going back to visit old friends, old family, long lost people, long lost hobbies, long lost things that once gave you pleasure. So you're doubling back there. And I think for you, Virgo, too, with July 19th, then Mercury further going back. So we're going right back in time this month. Retrograde. Step back in time and clear everything up. Issues that you've had with friends that you just no longer have contact with. Maybe that could be coming up too, to get in contact with them again. It's like, get back in contact with humanity, get back in contact with your friends, get back in contact with your vision of your future. So there's a lot. Okay, Virgo, there is a lot, and we've talked a lot, 15 minutes or so there. So let's get a few more cards that came out like that, 2 more. I'm excited for you because I feel the kind of excitement of, okay, feeling like, did I really have to go through this? Yeah, I know that's a big question. Did you? But then ending it this month by saying, I understand more. I understand why. I get it. And I'm happier now because I've rooted out something in myself that was holding me back. So yeah, let's get these 2 cards. They're not jumping, they're not hopping. Okay, these 2 jumped and hopped. Okay, 3 actually came out, so we'll choose them. Hierophant came out there. Yeah, this is a child or new birth card. 5th house has a lot to do with new children too, or dealing with children. Maybe that's a hard issue that's been coming up for you for the last year and a half, how to manage that, cope with that, deal with that. But again, by the end of the month, there's something positive coming there. Now that came out. So, Virgo, we have all the cards. Finally, let's go over to the big grand overview and see what the heck is going on now. Virgo, over the last year and a half, your deep desires, your passions, your obsessions have started to get the better of you, obsessed maybe with how other people aren't noticing you, of how hard you have to work to get people to notice you, how hard you have to keep up appearances, how hard it is to keep it all going so that you don't get dropped, maybe in work, or dropped by friends, or dropped by your partner, or dropped by something. And you're like, this is hard work, and I'm becoming obsessed with maybe forcing an image of myself onto other people that might not necessarily be true for me. But I'm going to learn the lesson. These are the 2 eclipses, by the way, Capricorn and Cancer. I'm going to listen to the solar eclipse, the new moon, something new. You see, this is old. Being obsessed with how people think of me, being obsessed, am I a bad parent? Am I a bad work colleague? Am I bad? Oh God, I just better keep it all good. This is what's been let go of. And also, just before I continue, maybe some unhealthy relationships, unhealthy obsessions with wanting people to love you. That's another thing that's been let go of in everything we've just spoken about. But your new passion, your new obsession, something that is being lit. You see, he has the torch down there and he's setting your tail on fire. He's saying, come on, Virgo, let's light something new up, light it up. And like, those old movies with the long detonation cord, he's given you a chance over the last year and a half to burn some of the stuff that's been holding you back. But this month he's saying, I'm really going to light this up. You're going to have to let go of so many things that we just spoke about and start building a new obsession to your future. Start paying attention to how other people really just like you for who you are. They like what you do. They like what they see. They don't seem to like when you try so hard. They don't seem to like when you want to force a feeling or force love, respect, devotion. They don't like it anymore. And you don't like it anymore because it's too hard. So this is the real moment where you and everybody else just say, look, let's start over. New moon, solar eclipse. I want my needs met. Are you going to meet my needs? And they say, well, if you come back down to earth and kind of start seeing the good qualities about me again and start having a laugh together again and laugh at yourself, that means that we don't have to laugh at you. Now that could be a thing, Virgo. Okay, that came in strong. If you found that you were hiding, maybe covering in case people would laugh at you, or pick something about you that they don't like and say, well, you're this, you're that. This is a real moment where it's like, let's make a new agreement where I can laugh at myself. Therefore, if people laugh at me, I can laugh along with the joke and say, you're right, and it's funny. And it's not so mean and heavy and serious and why did you say that? It's like, laugh it off. So this is what's changing. Cancer and Capricorn, real Cancer, Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Ascendants might be very key for you this month in playing their part, either positively or negatively, in getting you moving to make these big changes. Yeah, to kind of start saying, drop the act, drop it, and start really looking to your future, looking again with more possibilities. Look again and see the bigger vista, the bigger long-range vision of who you are. You're more than just your image. You're more than just demanding this and demand. You're more, much more. And when you release that, you actually become more. So it's about becoming more when you drop the I must be more. But again, we've more earth. The earth signs are so strong for you. Earth, Capricorn, Taurus, and your fellow Virgos, particularly Capricorn being very strong. Capricorn, Virgo being very strong. But it's this thing of you really getting comfortable again. Getting comfortable and saying, you know what? I feel more secure in myself. Even though this is eclipse season and everything's retrograding, I feel that I can sit better in myself, in my life. Once I allow other people in, once I let them see my flaws and we laugh at it together, then they come along and start recognizing how brilliant I am. This is a card that sometimes suggests where other people come in, see the work that you're doing and say, I love this. And I think you could be getting some appreciation from people this month. 11th house has a lot to do with rewards, recognition, appreciation. And this is the new turn that's happening for you, Virgo. We touched upon that a little last month, where people are starting to finally give you some recognition, but they want to see the work that you've done. They will say, I truly adore you now because I see the work you've done on yourself. I truly adore you now because you're not hiding on your own, trying to chip away at yourself to make yourself like some Venus de Milo. Remember, she's got no arms. You know what I mean? She's so perfect, but she's also still flawed, and yet she's still beautiful, like you, the Venus de Milo, the epitome of beauty. But she has what some would perceive as a flaw. And that's what's been recognized, and that's what gets you back comfortable again. Now, on a very literal level, I do see strong earth energy, the earth signs, Sun, Moon or Ascendant, Capricorn, Taurus or Virgo, coming at you and saying, I love your work. So if you have a project or work thing that you're doing, even it could be just parenting for those of you who are parents, there is a new turn where people are saying, I love your work. And maybe they're saying, hey, you don't have to do that alone. Why don't you share it? Why don't you collaborate with me? Why don't you come to my company? Why don't you do this, that? So people are getting a new interest in you. So you're becoming very popular just because you've mastered all the shit we're talking about. Yeah, there's a payoff. There is a payoff. However, what I do see mid-month, there is something where your security is rocked a little bit. I'm just looking down at the chart here, Virgo, to see, I don't know, maybe some communication. It's almost like a big moment where you have to start again. It's like I have to let go of what I was working towards. I'd hoped to accomplish something. I hoped to accomplish maybe having a dream home, a dream life, a happy family, being a great parent. I hoped that I could accomplish it a certain way. But that's not where I'm going to win. I have to start over again. And I think, again, maybe readings like this or other people coming to you might say, it is time to start again. Excuse me, I think you're going to hear news. The earth signs are everything for you this month. They're going to share news with you that's like an offer to start at ground level, build from the bottom all over again. Maybe even in a relationship, it could be a new relationship with an earth, sun, moon or ascendant saying, let's start again, but this time know your value, know your worth, hold that up and let it come from your soul. Remember, the Venus de Milo is the most beautiful and she still has what some people would consider flaws. And that's how you now approach everything, your work life, your home life. There will be flaws, but it's not your job to see the flaws. It's only your job to now begin again highlighting the best qualities. And I think it is love, because look here, Virgo. Healing and love being offered. It could be a water sign either. Cancer, very strong Cancerian vibes. Very strong Cancerian vibes too. Offering you new love. And this is that very, very moment. And it's not just about new love. It's about falling in love with yourself again. Falling in love with what you do again, without that unnecessary pressure to perform. You know? It's take away that pressure. Because when you've pressure, do you remember the Muppets? The Muppet Show? Do you remember the two guys? What were the old men in the balcony? What were they called? Waldorf and Sadler? I can't remember. And when the Muppets were on and they were trying and failing, but trying and not doing it with a happy frame of mind, the two old men would shout down, "Boo, that was terrible, that was terrible." But when they'd come out and do something great, they'd be saying, "No, wait, that was great, that was great." And that's like you. That's the moment where you really understand. You stop beating yourself up. You stop beating your life up, and you stop ruining your own future. When you say, hang on a minute, hang on. It's not about performing in my life to get people to like me, love me, appreciate me, or respect me. I don't deserve it in that way, but I do deserve love, and I deserve other people to see the best of me. And by doing that, you get that was great, I love it. So there is that recognition. You're being told you're being admired and loved. Absolutely. But I do see this too, towards the end of the month. You're still unsteady with this, Virgo, and I get it. Rome wasn't built in a day, and we can't change in 1 month. So there is a moment here where you're kind of uncomfortable, maybe relinquishing some of that control and moving towards a different type of success in your life. Now, this could be following a vision and being uncomfortable because you have to change work, because you have to leave home, because you have to leave a relationship maybe even, or start again in a new one. There is a level of discomfort here. And it seems to be the right thing to do, Virgo, because it's like you can't keep flogging a dead horse. You can't keep doing it the old way and hoping to get a success in your love life, work life, wherever it is, and then it fails. That's a terrible punishment on yourself. This is where he steps in. He's saying, if you don't get this right, you'll end up only punishing and hurting yourself. And this is a big task, I see, towards the end of the month, where you've got to get right out of the comfort zone. It's almost like, Virgo, like wiping off the makeup, taking off the jewelry, getting rid of the fancy car, getting rid of the false image, the false beliefs, getting rid of that doing it all wrong just for people to like you. And that's gotta hurt. And this is saying it will hurt, but you're losing nothing, because you're not getting the applause that you deserve, the love that you deserve, the excellent kind of vibes that you deserve. You're not getting doorways open for you until you do this thing of letting go of a stranglehold of how things should be. They ought to be this way. I deserve this to happen. Let it go. Yeah. Because this is the energy of kind of, it's my way or the highway. This is the way it is. I deserve. You can't change. You're supposed to change for me. This is supposed to suit me. And I know this is weird, Virgo. You're probably watching this at the start of the month horrified, saying, are you sure you're talking about me? Are you sure this is the Virgo reading? I am. And this is the eclipse vibes coming for you, because you're going to see it. Where you've been a bit overbearing. That's Saturn in the 5th house shit. And it's time for you to release that, because you're not an overbearing person in your heart, soul and nature. But it's when you realize that you might have become that, then everything changes. But look, we begin the cards with the lunar eclipse, Capricorn, Saturn, setting you on fire like Mission Impossible, you know. This is your challenge, should you choose to accept. And we end the month with you being finally lit up. This is the energy of being lit up, being free, being liberated, seeing new opportunities. Definitely new opportunity, new pathways of love and new pathways of ambition opening up for you because you've seen some of the things that we've spoken about and you don't like it. You don't like it. And I think you might even be horrified because it's not you. It isn't you. And you'll be glad that Mars is in the 12th house, rooting all of this out from your cellar, saying, get it out, sell it, do it, give it to charity. I don't want any of this. This is not who I want to be. I want to be strong, bold, confident, fiery, adventurous. I want all that. And yes, I do deserve that. But I want to do it in a powerful way. And I now see the difference between true power and fake power. Trying to force people to like me or force people to accept me and love me. That's not how it's done. I'm letting that go. And I'm setting a new sense of real power on fire for me. And you know what, as I'm reading here, Virgo, you know what I feel? I feel it's happiness. It's like being lit with happiness coming back. Laughter. Not nervous laughter, but enjoying yourself. There's something at the end of the month where you finally realize, particularly around the lunar eclipse, where everybody around you is miserable and you just say, you gotta laugh. You just got to laugh. You have to laugh. And it's the laughing and the kind of laughing at yourself that kind of burns it. Mars and Mercury, your ruler, has brought all the stuff from your subconscious out like a big bonfire. And they give you the torch and say, come on, Virgo, burn that bitch. Let it go and rise into your future, North Node, 11th house, new moon in Cancer. Rise to your future and get everything you want the right way. I love it, Virgo. Love it. And of course, you know that these are the general energies of the month. If you really want to get into the nitty-gritty, the absolute details for your relationship, for the singles, is there love magic in Cancer season? Talking about money, career, family, friends, maybe even children, things like that. And anything else that we haven't touched upon here, we open all of that up in the VIMEO readings, the deep read, all linked down there in the description box below. Come along again, Virgo, and we'll dig right in and find out what the hell is being put on that bonfire that you've to torch now and kind of dance around that bonfire and be free. So like I said, we'll open all that up. Deep read, link down there below. Come along. And we'll see what's going on, Virgo. I wish you every happiness this month. I think you're turning towards that now. And I'm going to leave you with all my love, as always. And a great big kiss from me to you. Mwah. Until next month, my beauty. Bye.